can see that the right shoulder is a little lower and the left's a little higher. We check the ears. So do you mind if I put my fingers in your ears?
Go ahead.
So I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but the left ear is higher than the right. So her temporal bones are adjusting for her shoulders. That's usually what happens with the body, as it compensates in different ways. The next thing we're going to try and do is see where she's off left to right. So I'm going to try and push her to the right, and I want her to stabilize. So there's no stabilization here. We can just push her off with no problem, right? I can do it with 1-2 fingers.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's bad.
And now we come over here to the other side and we check it out, and it's solid. I mean, it could be more solid, but it's way more solid than pushing her to the right. Okay. Okay, so another way we find out if she's imbalanced is we check the psoas muscle, and that's one of the most important muscles in the body. It actually lifts the leg, and if there's an imbalance in the spine or the pelvis, usually one side or the other is going to be firing better, and if one of the sides isn't firing good, then basically all these muscles in the leg take over for lifting it, and it's actually supposed to be the psoas here in the belly. So you mind if I lift your leg here and test you here? Okay, so don't let me push this leg down. Yeah, so that was pretty easy as far as Holly's concerned. She's a strong woman, and I know she has a lot more power than that. And you'll see after we do this treatment. So don't let me push this leg down. And see, this is a lot more solid. It could be more solid than what it is, but this is a lot stronger. So that's telling me that both psoas are being affected by the imbalance in the pelvis. What kind of symptoms are you having with your legs or your hips?
A lot of pain in the left hip, and it snaps and pops whenever
Where's
almost
the pain?
every step. It's actually directly in the hip joint on the left hip, but on the right side, it's where that it's not the actual sciatic, but it's like that sciatic pain goes down right
down the back of the leg.
It doesn't travel down to the back of my leg. It's just that right, almost in that right butt cheek.
SI joint, basically. Yeah. So what she's describing is, typical imbalance in the pelvis, and what we try to do is we balance that pelvis out. I mean, it shifts everything in the body, all the soft tissue around the spine, around the brain, through the legs. I've worked on Holly a lot before, and what we find is that her kinetic chain that goes from the heel up to the sits bone is normally the issue going on. Kinetic chain is basically a chain of muscles and soft tissue that connect each other to each other. What we're going to try first is releasing that kinetic chain. First of all, I want to check her pelvis and see where I feel the restriction. So can I work with that? So pretty much on point all the time, it's the right side for her. And what happened, and she's feeling the pain in the left because that's usually what happens with the SI is that, the dysfunction and the tension is on the right, causing pain in the left. So what we're going to do first is release this kinetic chain on the right. So we just released the kinetic chain on the right leg, and we're going to check the pelvis again. Way more movement now. We haven't even touched the SI yet, but normally what happens with the kinetic chain is it compresses right at the lower part of the sacrum with the sacrotuberous ligament that goes from the femur to the sacrum, or ischial tuberosity, pelvis to the sacrum. Tender?
We'll see.
There he goes. So now we just released the sacrotuberous ligament on the right leg, and let's check the pelvis again. So even more movement now, right? How's everything feel?
Feels better.
Yeah? Let's test here. So we test this leg. This was the stronger leg, and now it's way stronger. You feel any pain when you do that? I'm gonna test the left leg. Way stronger, but still a little weak because we haven't gone into the left SI yet. Just to get her back to, the psoas firing. So don't let me push this down now. Pretty solid.
Big difference.
Yeah, 5 minutes, something like that. Not all treatments are 5 minutes, but Holly's been a long-term client of mine, and she's a farm woman. She goes out and rides horses, and
Throwing around bales of hay.
So she needs a tune-up every once in a while. So before we saw that she had no stability when we tried to push her to the right. Okay, so we're going to try that again. So I'm pushing pretty good, and there's no way I'm going to push her over, and definitely not with 2 fingers like the last time.
No.
And so here, try to push her over this way. Can't do it. Very important to establish that balance. Once you establish that balance, you're less likely to fall. Okay, I used to work hospice, and Holly knows, she's a hospice nurse. And, we've both worked hospice, and when people fall, they break their hip. It's not a good situation. And so when we balance the body, you're way less likely to fall. Because when you're already falling to one side or the other, that's usually the hip you're going to break, because you're going to fall on that side. We also checked her shoulders, and they look a lot more level to me, as far as I can tell. It's still a little higher, but not much. The ears. Okay, so the pelvis is balanced down here, but we have some stuff going on with the occiput, the bone in the back of the head. So normally my treatments involve a CRT, which is a cranial release technique, where we reset one of the most important joints in the body, the sphenobasilar joint. When that happens, it resets the primary respiration of the nervous system, so it also releases on a global level through the legs, through the arms, through the organ tissue. So what we're seeing right now is there's an imbalance going on in the soft tissue around her brain. So my assessment here would be that we need to do a CRT, so that's what we're going to do next.